50-50 yard. So I want to give my experience on the 50-50 yard, um, of what my take on the 50-50 yard. My 50-50 yard experience came from me being in Folsom State Penitentiary. I did a year in prison. I had 2 years to do. And I was supposed to go to fire camp. Some stuff happened where I couldn't go to fire camp. So they sent me to Folsom. Folsom has a farm. They was like, if you good in Folsom, you can go to this farm. And it's like fire camp because when you go to fire camp, I think I had 2 years with fit at half. And everybody, when I got to Delano, was talking about this 33%. So they were like, they're going to give you 30. They never gave me 30. They were like, when you make it through fire camp, you're going to get 33%. I never made it to fire camp. So the people that's been around in California know what I'm talking about, right? So never made it to fire camp. I go to Folsom. Folsom ain't sending me to fire camp. So I did a year in the joint. You feel what I'm saying? 50-50 is half general population, half SNY. Now, Folsom State, where I went, that's what y'all call the main line. That's just general population. My annual came around, meaning your counselors review you after a year of however long I forget if they base it on when you came in or when you got to that facility. I think they base it off when I got to that facility. I can't remember. So my annual came around, I think it was a January. And I was supposed to get out in November. So my counselor said, like, your annual came around, you got into no trouble. Your points drop. So in California, your points go from like 11 and up, 11 to like 20. That will put you at like a level 2 prison. 20 to 30, that'll put you like a level 3. I can't remember. 10 and under or something like that, you on level 1. Folsom State Penitentiary is a level 2/level 3 prison. It's really a level 3, but they had me at level 2 because my points were so low. When your annual come around, if you ain't in no trouble, your points drop. So technically, I was like, if you ask me, I believe I was a level 1 guy. Anyway, they like, we're not gonna send you to fire camp. We can send you to Folsom's farm. We have a camp or a farm or something like that, and we'll send you to this farm. If you go to this farm, instead of getting out in November, you'll get out in, at first they said like May or June. I ended up getting in like April. They discharged me. So, but they was like, do you have a problem with being on the yard? I do remember this. When they said you'll get out in March, I was like, or April or something like that. I was like, okay, because that's your freedom. So they was like, do you have a problem with being on the yard with SNY people? So immediately I started thinking about people that be running away from jail. You know what I'm saying? Or running away from the real shit. No, I don't got a problem with that. You run away. I don't have you telling me I can go home. So no, I didn't have a problem with that. So they did ask that. I forgot to say that because when I left the annual, I went to take one of these classes that I take. And there's a guy on YouTube right now. I'm not going to mention his name, but me and him was we was in Folsom together. So I'm telling people like, guess what, y'all? My annual came up. They said they sending me to the farm over here or wherever it's like. They was like, that's good. So the dude that I'm talking about, that's on YouTube, I ain't gonna say his name. He told me what it was. He said, man, that's good, man. It's great. I mean, it's a 50-50 yard, but I mean, so I said, what's 50-50? You know what I mean? Like, they didn't send me to this place till like a month later. You see what I'm saying? So I'm sitting around and I'm asking people when I found out what 50-50 was. I'm like, and I'm talking to everybody on the yard, and they're like, man, go, man. You ain't no. And the dude that told me it's a 50-50 yard, he's a Crip. He said, I can't go because I'm a Crip, but if they were knocking, but he said, I get out in like a month. He said, I get out in 1 month. If they were to knock like years off my time, or if I would like getting out like later on this year, something like that, I ain't gonna say his name. He said, I'm like 2 weeks to the door or something. He said 2 or 4 weeks to the door. He like, if I wasn't so close, I go if they knock mad time off my thing. But I'm a gang member, so I ain't if I'm already finna get out, I ain't gotta go. You know what I'm saying? But so that's what it is. When you get to this place, I'm in Folsom's farm. So people that I saw in Folsom, I seen over there. Me and one guy, we got discharged together. And so I would see some cats that was over there, like, when you over in Folsom? So the words get around. People be like, where you came from? And so if you came from Folsom, you'll be like, over the wall. Man, it was turkeys running around and shit. It was, I don't know what the other, now, here's what I want to say. I don't know if there are like 50-50 designated prisons. Like I said, I made it to that. I did a year at time, and they sent me over there as a general pop dude. That's why it's called 50-50. GP/SNY. I'm going to just say it. Because I'm not ashamed. I don't care about getting my freedom 7 months off. I don't care about these folks. What you did, like I said, keep that to yourself, man. You know, in my mind, I could never rock with a rat. I could never rock with some with just some light. Because you go to jail, I can't rock with no weirdos. And you can kind of see who weird and know whatever. Sometimes but I don't rock with everybody anyway, even in GP. So it's like, you know, dudes trying to get too close, I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? But they knocked 7 months off my sentence. So what I'm saying is my points got low. I don't even know if I could have stayed in Folsom. But if you say you want to go home in November, you want to go home in April. If I want to be a real nigga, I just be like, man, I'm gonna thug it out till April. I mean, to November. I'll just get out in November. Nigga, please. So, but I'm saying in my case, they sent me to an annex to Folsom. It was like an extra space where they put people from Folsom. If you go there, it's like a farm or something. It's like minimum custody. But the only problem is you dealing with you got some SNY folks there. In my mind, it's like, okay, that's what minimum custody is. It's like, you telling me I could kind of dress a little bit more lackadaisical, a little more laxed, or I could, it's a little more freedom over there. They got video games and stuff over there. That's what people in the joint want. It makes you feel like you closer to home. You see cars pass by, like you ain't seen a car in a year and a half. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know what I mean? This was a farm, but I don't know if it's like an actual prison. You know what I'm saying? I think they actually have designated prisons that are called 50-50. So when you go to reception, I don't know if they classifying you to go to a 50-50 because your point's so low, or if you're asking to go. I don't know. I did my time. That's all I'm saying. I made it to a minimum yard. And I ain't no gangbanger, so I don't have to worry about how, if you worried about your reputation, like I said, I did my time in general pop. I just my points got lower. But if you think you're going to get famous off your reputation for your prison career or your prison reputation, then do what you do. I was there one time in my 20s, but you got to understand, I was in my early 30s or my mid 30s when all this stuff started happening. You see what I'm saying? I was doing HVAC. What I went to jail for was stupid. I was doing HVAC. Y'all took me off the streets. Yeah, you know, you took me out of my career. I could have been doing something. I was doing something. Now, you never seen it. If you go to prison and you sitting around and you see somebody sitting around like, the fuck am I doing up in here? Nigga, I was just at work. You see what I'm saying? I don't fuck around. And they didn't care. I had prior or something. So I got into a little confrontation with somebody, and I go to prison for it like my dude. Like, I was just at work. You ever seen somebody just sitting around just like, where in the fuck am I at? How the fuck this happened? You know what I'm saying? So when they told me I could go home early, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that to let y'all know that I don't know what everybody else is doing when it comes to these 50-50 yards, how they get there. I don't know if they just going, but in most cases, I think they take some time off. So if you're getting offered time off your sentence, I'm pretty sure that's probably why they taking. I don't know. That's what I went. I was in Folsom, and they had like an extra part of Folsom where you can go over here, and they knock time off your sentence. 7 months is a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? 7 months early is a lot of time. So I took it. You know what I'm saying? And would I do it again? Hell yeah. Cause number one, niggas don't want to go to prison. See what I'm saying? So when they tell you, you know, you going someplace that's a little freer or whatever, you like, okay, that's the goal. I went to the joint in Alabama. And if you could work your way down to like work release, they got work release where you a little more freer. That's kind of like what it is. It's kind of like you working your way down. You finna get out. You know, anybody ever tell you, you finna get out. Like, if you in prison and you hear some shit like that, man, that shit opens up your lungs, nigga. You breathe a lot easier, boss. Like, you know, it feels good. It's like somebody said, you finna get out. You know what I mean? Oh, they sending you over there. You must be finna get out. You like, I hope so. Yeah, you know what I mean? So, but at the same time, that's my thing on 50-50 yards, man. You know what I'm saying? I think they have the prisons that are designated 50-50s. This wasn't no designated prison. It wasn't like you finna go to Folsom's 50-50 yard. I think you gotta make it over there or some shit like that, but it is 50-50. But like I said, I told everybody on the yard before I went, everybody that I talked to, and then it took so long, I started asking questions like, should I go? They was like, man, they knocking time up. He said, one nigga told me I got life in prison. He said, I got life. If my custody drop, I don't give a fuck what these niggas say or think. He said, I'm going. He said, he said, you finna get out. Go. And so that's the thing, you know. If they drop your points and they lower your time, I recommend it too. Like if you in general pop, because you got half general pop, half people that was, some of these niggas probably got arrested, started running their mouth and shit, and they sent them to prison. And they probably sent them to a 50-50 yard. I don't know how that works. You get arrested, you start running your mouth, they took you to a 50-50 yard from the street. That's not our situation. They took me to a 50-50 yard from another prison. Nigga, they sent me from another prison. That's why it's called general pop. See, my situation might be different. Some of these cats might, I don't know what's going on. And I ain't bragging on I could give a damn about prison, bro. However you get home, but if you ain't telling on nobody. The thing is, though, I think with California, the way these niggas look at it, which I'm 30-something years old, I'm not worrying about my prison reputation getting me famous. I'm gonna be real with you. If I would ever go back to jail right now, which I shouldn't speak it on myself. I don't give a fuck. I don't have a, listen, I'm past 30s now. I don't give a damn where they put me at. I don't give a damn about general pop. I ain't saying I'm finna be I might want to go. What I'm saying is my mind, I'm not going back to jail, but my mind ain't wrapped too tight no more to do no more penitentiary time. I would never do no dumb shit. If I get in trouble, I got in trouble. I'm saying that's the story of my life. But if I go, put me in the penthouse suite. Put me in the suite. I don't want to get to know no more niggas. I don't want to know nobody's names. I don't want to see some 18-year-old with tattoos on his face telling me his name and asking me how much time I got. You know, I don't want to meet I was 18 once. I was 21 once. Nobody threw me a party the 2 times I came home from jail. It wasn't like you think the shit on the movies. It ain't that. And you just sitting in there with your time being wasted. So if you send me back to jail now, fucking around, I can't do it, man. I don't know. I don't know if I don't want to even think about that shit, man. You can listen to me and tell I ain't got it, man, anymore. It ain't nothing in there. Your time is being wasted. Your time is dead. You on dead time. So I ain't got nobody to impress. Ain't nobody. You see anybody around here celebrating me like, oh man, he been to prison before. He blah blah blah. It ain't about telling on nobody. I would never tell on nobody. Tell on what? I live my life. I was taught to, but like I said, I shouldn't even be talking about that. But as far as the 50-50 yards, man, like if people getting picked up off the street and sent there, I don't know how that worked. I had to go through reception. I went through some whack ass prison shit. I think I was in prison for like a year. I don't know when your annual come up is either a year from the date I think it was in January I got an annual for some reason. And no, I think I went to the I call it like the camp. It was like Folsom camp. I went to that camp in like January. I got out in like April, I believe. So my annual must have came around in November, because I got sentenced in November of 2017. So maybe in November of 2018, maybe they gave me the annual. I can't remember. But the thing is, I did a year. Have you ever been to Folsom? Them little cells, the darkness. If you ever been to the LA County Jail, sometimes it's kind of similar. You know, them cells that they small and you smell shit going on and you hear music and you know that smell, you know what I'm saying? Sitting in that motherfucker for a year. Annual come up, it's like, okay, what's that? Go to the annual, they tell you your points is down. They said you qualify to go to this one, you go here, they take you get a certain amount of money. Instead of going home in November, your release date will change. So man, they changed my release date twice. They changed it one time and they did it again. So, like I said, but I was already in prison though. See what I'm saying? And it was my first time. I'm not from California. It was my first time in California. So certain things I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not involved in the shit that certain motherfuckers might be, which they should. I don't want to jinx no man. All of us need to be trying to go seek a higher education in something, and I ain't gonna tell you to do the wrong things. That's going down. That's losing. I'm gonna tell you how to go up. I'm gonna tell you to be a winner. We'll talk about that shit later. You know, as far as going up, teaching people everything you do, you trying to teach somebody something. When you teach somebody something, you taking them up. You're not going down. I ain't finna sit on here and be like worship the devil, because you know what I mean. If that's what you do in your spare time, that ain't teaching you how to go up. A real nigga that's like a CEO or something, if he's sitting in a high office job, he ain't there. I don't know if he works with the devil, but he ain't get there by just sitting around smoking crack. I know some people that probably smoke weed and probably can run a successful business. How many people you know smoke crack and running a successful business? So when a nigga tell you he runs something or he a CEO, he can't really talk to you and explain to you, you know, how to smoke crack and run a successful business. He gonna explain to you the opposite. He gonna tell you don't smoke crack. Don't worship the devil. The devil in the Bible, let's say, he leave you when you get in trouble. Here, because this generation these days, they be like, didn't the devil like offer Jesus like the whole world? Don't he? Yeah, but Jesus also say he leave you when you get in trouble. Feel me? So I wouldn't tell you some shit how to lose. You run with the devil. Niggas that run with the devil and shit, you know, they lose their families. They lose their money, their jobs, shit out their bank account. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They lose shit. You know what I mean? They lose their freedom. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm not finna be like, I'm not finna tell you no unsuccessful shit. So I don't, anybody that's you know, I don't want nobody to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So but as far as that 50-50 shit, I just wanted to get my take on it because I've been through one. You know, I got sent to one. You know what I'm talking about? I got sent to one, and I'm not ashamed of the shit. I mean, I hope nobody can have to go to jail to see one. You know, but I was already in the joint. That's why they call it, like I said, that's why it's called 50-50. Half general population. Because when you get there, you're going to have people that was in the prison. Inside there, you got niggas that was there from other prisons. And then you fuck around and you do a little talking to somebody and you find out this cool motherfucker right here wasn't in no prison. This nigga talk all this shit. Not that I'm looking and researching, but you'll see this nigga didn't come from no joint. They picked you up off the street and brought you here. Like, them the type of, so it's like, I don't know nothing about that. You know, all I'm saying is my experience was I was already in the joint. And then I got sent to a quote unquote 50-50 yard. Well, not quote unquote a 50-50 yard, but it was like, I think they already have 50-50 prisons now. I think like that was Folsom shit. That was some Folsom shit. Y'all ever heard of Folsom? You know, state penitentiary. It has its own little camp. It's turkeys running around there, bitches. Man, there's all type of shit going on, man. You can tell you're getting closer to freedom. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, you got to share this shit with what they call SNY. And being me, it's like, bro, I can give a fuck about a nigga that's SNY, nigga. Nigga, you talking about home to freedom? It's SNY niggas around me right now. So this is freedom, though. You feel what I mean? So you talking about a jail reputation. So I get it, kinda. If you at reception and they tell you we can send you to a 50-50 yard, you might think twice. Now, if they tell you if you go here, though, instead of getting out in such and such time, you'll get out way before that. I think that's what y'all need to understand. They chopping time off people's sentence. It ain't like, oh, let me just go here because it's going to be easier. Hell no, you ain't finna go there because it's easier. You know what I mean? You ain't going there because you running away from some shit. You feel me? I believe you have to now take what I'm saying and ask somebody else. Did they chop your time down? Was your points low in order for you to qualify to go there? Because I don't know. Or did you just ask to go there because you just... If you feel like this is going to be your last time in prison, because if you... I'm going to just say this before I go. Because if you in California penitentiaries and they find out you was in one of them places, they might have questions. If you a real nigga and you got answers, I mean, like, I'm okay, boom, I'm here right now. I went there because this ain't my situation. If I was somebody else, I'd be like, I went there because such and such. Because this is your life. You choose what you want to do. And I went there because it benefited me at that time. I'm sitting up in here right now because it's probably benefiting me better right now to be here at this time. If you ain't got no bullshit on your record or nothing like that, then choose how you want to jail. You feel what I'm saying? Unless you running from some shit, but choose how you want to jail. But the way California do it though, they gonna have them questions. They gonna grill you. You see what I'm saying? If you can pass the grilling, and if you can't pass the grilling, you just got to go through the fire. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go through that fire fucking around in Cali. But so what I'm saying is, if you feel like you ain't never going back to jail, so you don't have to face the fire. I mean, that's kind of like, because most niggas probably feel like they never going back to jail. If you get out and you go back to doing some bullshit that you doing, then you just running the streets crazy. You're going to face the fire. Because you reckless. You run around doing silly, frivolous shit. You feel me? Like, you think the shit a game and it ain't one. You know what I'm saying? But like I told you, I was like, I think I might have went in 2017. I was 31 years old. Got out when I was 33. 31 years old in prison. I wasn't selling drugs. I ain't had no drug ring. I had just got off work. So ask some people though, if their points was low, how they went there. I mean, did they knock time off their shit? Because that's what I went through, my experience. I had to go from one facility to the next. And we out.